All right. So then we'll go right into the second part and then
Okay.
just kind of clip it there. So I'm going to, I'm just going to get a drink real quick. Okay. Yeah. So if you have like any like super crazy, awesome stories or whatever, like,
I, I have a
yeah.
couple, but I'll tell you one that we
Okay.
actually have a video on this one on our YouTube page.
Oh, sweet.
Um, so we went. There's a hospital here in Michigan called Eloise Psychiatric Hospital.
Oh, I
Um,
saw a video on this. This was, I saw a little snip. Go ahead. Yeah.
and this hospital started 1839 here in Michigan. Westland, Michigan is where it started. Started as a poorhouse or poor farm,
Mm,
which I guess in today's terms would be like a homeless shelter somewhat. Orphans would
okay.
go there, widows, widowers. They had no place to go, no family, so they would work on this poor farm. Either working in the farm, they made their own clothes. It was just crazy, but it grew and grew and grew, and so they had to have health care. So they built a hospital, and over the years, it was a tuberculosis
Oh,
hospital,
boy. Yep.
and eventually, it turned into the largest psychiatric facility in the United States.
Whoa.
It's 78 buildings, 902 acres. It had a police station,
Jesus.
fire station, bakery. The post office has its own zip code. It
Oh,
was a
my goodness.
self-contained city, so they had a tobacco. I mean, they had everything, and so it's always been. And that's the hospital I snuck into when I was 16.
Oh, yeah.
There
Okay.
was a lot of the buildings still left, and there was wide open. I mean, all of them. The police didn't even care. It didn't seem like we went in the tunnels, and so it was my first like really paranormal experience hearing that voice. So
Mm,
fast forward to 2018, a guy I know loves the paranormal, loves us. We met on one of our paranormal conventions. He came to see us speak. He goes, my friend just bought Eloise. I go, get out of here. He goes, yeah, I just bought
whoa.
Eloise. So there's like 5 buildings left. And he said, do you want to investigate it? I'm like, and I've tried over the years. I mean, I went through all the government red tape to try and get in there, and they
Oh,
would never
man.
allow it because the government owned it.
Yeah.
So they finally sold to this private investor. And I told the guy's name is Russ Robinson. I said, Russ, get us in there. So I didn't hear from him 2 weeks, and he said, "Do you want to get Eloise?" I'm like, I thought he was just bullshitting. I go,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, right, Russ. Okay. He goes, do you want to get in there? I said, okay. Can you get us in there August 30th? We'll meet you there at 8 p.m. He goes, yeah, I'll see you there. So sure enough, we go there. The
Wow.
owner, meet the owner. So we go investigate Eloise. We brought all our stuff. First time
Oh,
it's ever been
man.
investigated by a paranormal team.
First
Um,
time ever?
ever, ever
Wow.
in this building.
Oh,
So
man.
the first 2 floors were used like county offices until like 2016. That's why the government owned it. They wouldn't let us in there because they were still working there. But 3, 4, and 5 in the basement are left when the hospital closed. It's the last building, like psychiatric building, that housed patients. So there's 400 patients housed in
Mm,
this particular building.
yikes.
So we're walking. It looks like you're walking back into the 70s. It's got that
Mm-hmm.
lime green paint on the men's
Yep.
floor, pink paint on the
Yep.
women's floor. So we set up our static cameras, which are like I was telling you, the DVR type cameras that are security systems. So we set up 4 of those, one in this room that I was in, one down the hallway, one down the staircase, and one shooting straight across. So we had the whole third floor covered basically. Um, so we investigated, got some cool things during the night, and I started getting on. We met up in the hallway. So I sat on the floor, take a little break. It's about 2:30 in the morning, and I
Mm-hmm.
get on my phone, start doing social media. Well, I'm not paying attention. Everyone else left.
Oh,
So 10 minutes
jeez.
later, I look up. People get into their phones and not realize how quick time flies.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Exactly.
so I'm like, shit, I think I'm in this place by myself, or they're not here on this floor.
Oh,
So
no.
I go back over. We're doing a Facebook Live, and I go by the monitor and I start talking to people, and it made me feel comfortable, even though for some insane reason it felt like there's people there.
Yeah,
There's no
that's
one there. I'm just
weird.
talking to people on
That's really
Facebook. You know
weird.
what I
Yep.
mean? Answering
Yep.
their questions. So I start hearing something back, and this is in a dormitory ward where they would have
Mm,
patients and be bed after bed after bed after bed. If you ever seen old pictures from like the 20s and 30s of how
totally.
hospitals
Yep.
were, there's no privacy, there's nothing. They just packed you in these rooms. So I start hearing something in the back of the dorm, and I'm like,
Oh, man.
shit, I hope this is nothing. Hope it stops because I was getting scared. And
Yeah.
I hear shuffling and footsteps and something coming towards me. And I went up, I said, hello. And I took the flashlight and was looking behind me, and it stopped. And so I tried to rationalize it that those guys I was with came back in, snuck back in, and were trying to scare me.
Sure.
So it stopped. So I went back on Facebook, and I'm like, we're at Eloise Hospital and answering people's questions. And I did it again. And I'm like, hello. And it kept coming closer towards me, coming towards me, coming towards me. I could feel it. I could actually feel the energy come towards me and hear whatever it was moving. And I just took off. I took off. So you can see on the
Yeah.
camera me leaving the room, going down the hallway, down the steps, and I run outside. Everybody is outside. I was the only person in that whole building. This building
Whoa.
is 200,000 square feet.
Oh
And
man.
I said, you guys have to go up. There's something up there. You have to come up there with me. Well, while we were doing that, we left the cameras were still going, and we had a
Mhm.
digital recorder. So in that 5 minutes that I left and ran downstairs to get everybody, you can hear something walking. You can hear, I was by the patient shower area. You could hear the shower curtains open and close. You could hear cabinet drawers opening and closing. I mean, for a good 5 minutes straight, sustained movement. And the cameras, there's nothing. You can't see anything.
Oh
There's nothing
really?
shows up on the cameras, but you can hear everything. So
No
that
thanks. Yeah.
was my experience at Eloise Psychiatric Hospital. That
That's awesome.
freaked me out.
Wow.
And that's on our YouTube. I mean, you can watch it on our YouTube. You can see the whole thing.
Oh really? How long is
Yeah.
that?
It's about 10 minutes.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that
We
out.
clipped it down
Um,
because, I mean, obviously we record for hours upon hours. And that's another thing doing the paranormal that the Bigfoot hunters don't have to deal with is going over that evidence. Like we can set for like 8 hours and watch video of nothing.
well, so to be fair, you're I would say you're 50 so you're 50%. So there I know a guy who will take they'll have audio recorders
Yeah.
and he will like go through hours and
Oh,
like find the calls and stuff. But usually most people not. This is a very like yeah, I'd
oh,
say
we
you're
do it.
right,
We
but
set
yeah, yeah.
through, we usually put recorders throughout the building, then we'll keep one with us.
Mhm.
So we're going over like 8 hours on 4 digit recorders. So you got
Wow.
it's really
Oh
4 times 8,
man.
32 hours of audio. And then if we have 4 cameras going for 8 hours, that's another 32 hours of video to go through. So it's
Man.
time consuming to try, but you have to because you never know what you're going to miss. If you don't go over this stuff, you might miss something that is a huge piece of evidence.
Is there a program that you could use that like cuz you could see waveforms of when some man, you'd have to do it manually, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So we have
sucks.
to set,
Yeah.
we'll set, I'll usually put it on my big screen TV or a bigger monitor because setting and watching a little one. So there'll be two or
Mhm.
three of us. We'll just set and watch a video. And sometimes, those cameras are just stationary. They're just looking at the same thing for hours and hours and hours. They don't move
Oh
around.
yeah, sure.
So you're just like staring, staring, staring. But we have captured stuff doing it that way. And that's part of the, like the paranormal review of evidence that is kind of the worst
Yeah.
part. But when you get something, it makes it all worth it. You get so excited. Like when you hear something on audio or you capture something on video.
Yeah, it's like mining for gold almost.
It is. It is. I call it
Yeah.
like fishing. It's like some
Yep.
days you go out there, you're fishing, you're gonna catch something right after the other. And other days, and there's places we've been, we didn't get anything. We've went there for
Mm.
hours to capture one thing.
Would you go back to Eloise again after that happened?
Yeah, yeah. I've been back there quite a few times.
Oh, you have? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just that night was the first. I think my excitement, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy. I'm not saying I was scared, but I was kind of scared. I mean, I'm a
Sure.
human still too. That's
Yeah,
scary.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a scary situation.
I think that's there's. I don't think there's any shame in saying that.
Well, I get
don't.
people say
I don't
you
see
do the
that.
paranormal. Why would you? I mean, I really wanted to. I mean, I tell people this. I wanted
Yeah.
to stay, but like almost like my fight or flight instinct kicked in and said, "Get out of there." Like my natural instincts wanted me to go. My head said stay, but I followed my
Mm-hmm.
instincts and just took off. And then right after I left, it really just amped up. So if I would have stayed, who knows what would happen? Who knows what I ran into? Who knows what? I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, and there are multiple stories of like people looking for Bigfoot, and all of a sudden they get this thing where it's like almost like it's like a mind speak thing or something,
Mhm.
where it's like you need to go now, or
Right.
like like they hear something, it's like primal brain kicks in, it's like you need to protect yourself and stay alive, get out of here right now. They're like
And I
crazy,
tell everyone to trust
Yeah.
that instinct. Trust that instinct.
Oh totally, yeah.
Because
Yep. I agree with
your
you.
natural instincts will not do you wrong.
Yep. No doubt. Any other, maybe another story you could share?
Sure. There's another place in the Upper Peninsula I went to. It was Iron County Historical Museum.
Hmm.
This museum sits on an old abandoned iron mine.
Okay.
Upper Peninsula, there's it was a big iron community, old iron mining towns everywhere. So they're all abandoned now. But this museum has like 25 buildings on the property that are all brought from that area. So they all bring the old houses, log cabins. There's a church. old tavern, barbershop, train station, and a house. The house belonged to Carrie Jacobs Bond. She was a famous, you probably never heard of her. I didn't hear her at the time until I actually went there and researched her. She was the
Right.
first female musician in the United States to sell over 1 million copies of an album.
That's
And this is
cool.
in the 1900s.
Oh
So,
wow.
and she had kind of some tragedy. Her husband got in a snowball fight, got hit in the head with a snowball, fell, hit his head on the steps, and died.
Oh man.
A few years later, her son committed suicide. So she moved out of that house,
Mm.
and that was at the height of her popularity. Moved out of the house and moved to California, where she ended up passing
Mm.
away, 20 years later.
Okay.
So her house is like any old style house from the 1920s. You walk in the front, it's got a huge parlor to the right, and then to the left is a spiral staircase to go up to the second floor. So
Okay.
I'm sitting on a period piece velvet. It's not even a couch. It's like it's got wood trim on it, like I don't know what they call those, like a parlor chair. And Carrie Jacobs Bond piano was in the other corner. And then Lauren on our team was across from me, and another one of our investigators were in the corner, just to the right of Lauren. So I took out our K2 meter. I had it sitting
Okay.
next to me and the digital recorder sitting next to me. We weren't really getting a lot of activity in this house. It didn't feel any negative energy or feel bad. But we started playing, we looked her up on YouTube and actually found one of her songs.
Oh,
Started
smart.
playing one of her songs to use as a
Yeah.
trigger type of object. And as
Mhm.
soon as that song was over, things changed dramatically.
Whoa.
The temperature dropped, and one of the investigators said, I can't see all the way through them. I seem like a white mist, which sometimes shadow figures appear not like you see on TV where they're show them
Mhm.
in full, you can tell who it is. It'll look like a body somewhat, but it'll either be pitch black, the ones I've seen, or like a mist color. And
Whoa.
I'm like, I can't see it. She goes, I can't see you through this mist. And it was dark in the room. And meanwhile, after we reviewed the evidence, you can hear this digital record, this K2 meter sliding along this couch. You can hear it sliding, sliding, sliding till it was so far away from me. And I looked over and it turned red. Now these go from yellow when it barely touches to all the way to red. It's got green in the
Mhm.
middle, orange, and then red is at full energy. This
Yikes.
thing shot off the couch, hit Lauren, which she was 6 feet across the room from me, hit her in the leg. While it was in the air, it was fully red. I mean, whatever energy or spirit was in the house could throw that thing, hit Lauren. She jumped up screaming because I didn't know what happened at first. I'm like, what the hell's going on? She jumped up screaming. The other girl started screaming. I got up and screamed. Jeff was upstairs at Adkins, came running down the stairs, thought someone got hurt. We just run out of the house, leave everything in there, run out of the house. Lauren actually started crying because it upset her so much.
Wow.
So we went back to our base camp, and I was shook up. I was like shaking and thinking, what the hell? This is what we want to do, though. I said, Jeff, let's man up and go back in there. I said, I'll man
Oh
up and go back in
no.
this house. So we go in the house by ourselves. It took about 10 minutes to gather. Everyone just to like calm down because it was like it's a profound experience to see something have that kind of strength and energy to throw and hit somebody. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
It's we've seen stuff like people get their shirt pulled and your hair
Mhm.
pulled, but I've never seen doors slammed and stuff like that. But I've never seen them be able to throw something. And Lauren is the one that played the music on her phone. So I don't know if it was targeting
Oh.
her because
Yeah.
she played the music and they didn't like that or what.
That's a good
Um,
point.
and this place again was never investigated. We're the first paranormal team ever in there.
Mm.
So Jeff and I go back in, and same area, the parlor's to the right, walk in the door, and the stairs are to the left. So we set our little like tea table right by the door, and we start asking questions. And at this point, I said we didn't have the camera going, so we took a camera in there this time. They said if there's something there, we're going to catch it.
Mhm.
So we start saying, "Do you not like us here? We just want to talk. We're not going to hurt you." And as we started doing this, in the back of this house on the upper floor, you can hear footsteps coming, walking down. These are old hardwood floors.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Are you hearing this?" And Jeff's like, "Yeah, I can hear it." And it started coming closer to the stairs. And then at the top of the stairs, it was like a big thump, like, and it sounded like boots. And that's iron. All I can think was an iron worker or something, a miner in this house.
My wife just got off the couch upstairs right as you did the thump, and I was like, "Oh, jeez."
I sent it over to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. No thanks. Go ahead.
And so I'm like, what is that? I mean, in that breath of a sentence, I said, you can hear footsteps running down the stairs, like coming fast on the stairs. And the only way to get out of this place was to go to the stairs and out the door.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
I am out of here. I ran. I didn't even look see if Jeff was behind me. I just got up and ran, and
Mm-hmm.
saw that on video, me running out again. And I ran out the door, and Jeff was right behind me. Thank God. I'm like, I'm never going in that house again. Never again. And it because you could feel
Wow.
the negative energy. You could feel it.
Yeah.
It did not want us in that house for whatever reason.
Oh man.
Um, so we did a presentation. It was in Caspian, Michigan, which is probably a town of 800.
Okay.
So we did a presentation, a reveal of our findings in their auditorium. We probably had the whole town was there. Um,
Wow. That's
so
cool.
we decided to go back. It's like a 12-hour drive. We had to actually go through Wisconsin and still stay in Michigan, go around through Wisconsin to get to this farthest point of Michigan I've ever been to.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, way, way up there.
Huh.
Never been there before. And so we go back for a week. We made the front page of the newspaper, the year in review, because it was something cool for the town to have this happen.
Sure.
Um, I didn't expect that. I was very thankful, though. They're great people. I still keep in contact with a lot of the people there still to this day.
Nice.
So we went back, and I wouldn't go in that house. And everyone, oh, come on, go in the house. This is in the daytime. I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know what? Screw it. I'll go in the house.
Okay.
So I go up to the second floor, go in one of the bedrooms, and we have this recording too. And I say, I hate to say this. I was jumpy because I didn't want to go in there. I said, I hate to say this, but if there's anyone on the second floor, can you come in this room? Same boot steps. Start coming down the hallway right into the room.
No
And
way.
I said, I'm done. I'm done. I got out of there.
Oh my goodness. That's
So
some
it's
creepy
either
stuff.
something didn't like me or something didn't like Lauren, or they just did not want us in that house.
Wow.
We talked to people that worked there, and they had the house set up just like if Carrie Jacobs' mom lived there. They had the table set, and one of the workers said he was in there setting the table, and I heard a female voice behind him say, "Oh, that looks beautiful." And he turned around, and he thought someone, and this is a guy doesn't even believe in the paranormal. I mean, we got all
Wow.
these stories after we went there. They're like, "We're glad you're here because we've had all this weird stuff happen," and there was no one there. So there's always been some kind of weird something going on at that house, and we were able to experience it.
Jeez.
I mean, it scares me to think of that it was almost like a person. It's how
Mm-hmm.
loud and but there was nothing there. I couldn't see anything, but you can hear it. You could actually, like I said, trusting the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I mean, I could
Oh
feel
yeah.
something come
Yeah.
into that room, and I can hear it. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I just called this thing whatever it is into the room.
Man.
But those are some of my
That's awesome.
profound
That's
and
an
memorable
awesome story.
experiences.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So if you're ever in Caspian, Michigan, check out the Iron County Historical Society, the Carrie Jacobs Bond House. Maybe it'll happen to you.
Yeah, I'll put that on the list. So never go to Caspian, Michigan.
No,
Sorry,
and,
I'm a
and
super
dumbass me
wuss.
keeps going back for more.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I love it, man. I
You're
love it.
crazy. You're crazy for doing that. You're gonna get something's gonna. They're demonic. Some people say they're demonic. I've never ran into anything demonic. Um, and in my belief, they are people. There are, and if they're bad people in the world now, and when you die, I don't think you just instantly turn good. So I think
Hmm.
some of the bad energies are just bad people in real life. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I don't think it's demonic, but I believe in demons. But I haven't ran anything like that. And I don't ever want to, because that stuff seems scary.
Yeah, that's a no go for me. That's a I shut down conversation type.
Yeah.
Like that's not good stuff.
No,
If anyone comes back at me that listens to this and like, oh, bull, like back off. Like it's my thing. Uh, but I love you guys. I got a question for you though.
sure.
So being in like travel channel shows, have you ever had like interactions with like uh like Zach or Aaron or any guys like have you ever met those guys or
No, I mean I've met a lot of people doing this. We do a lot of the paranormal conventions and stuff.
oh
Um,
okay oh
I was
that's
on,
oh that would be interesting
yeah,
yeah
there's quite a bit of them. I mean, this year it's kind of slowed down because of COVID. Everything's slowed down.
mm-hmm.
But I was on Destination Fear,
hmm.
and Dakota Layden, he was on Ghost Adventures. He was a
Oh
younger
yeah
guy.
totally Dakota yeah
So Zach helped him get this show. So I was on the Destination Fair, and I brought him to Eloise for the show.
oh
So
really
I met up with them, his sister, and a couple other guys, and was telling him
nice
about Eloise, like stuff that's happening, like with even walkie talkies. We get weird stuff happening with walkie talkies. So
really
everything I told him, they experienced on the show. It was able to get caught on camera to kind of validate
whoa
it. And there was no
really
tricks to it because I told them even before they filmed
that it's
that
gonna happen
episode. Yeah, and it
no
happened. It was
way
so crazy. So that was
wow
kind of the cool thing, kind of validate things that have happened to me. Because
mm-hmm
I could tell you this stuff all day. You're like, oh yeah, people that listen to me, oh yeah, that's not real. It didn't happen. But to have it validate and actually see other people experience what you've said happens to you, it's insane. I mean,
wow
that blew me away. But we try to put our evidence out there, and we don't put it out there for people to say, oh, we don't even want you to believe. We want you to come up with your own conclusion. And if you want to debunk
I
it, if you
like
think
that.
it's something
Yeah.
else, let us know, because we want
Yep.
to know everyone's opinion on stuff. We're not closed minded at all. I keep telling you
Mm-hmm.
that. Open minded to everything. Everybody's opinion. Just don't bash us. You know what I mean? We're not into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. There's nothing good comes out of bashing someone
Uh,
else in any community at all. You
no.
don't win.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people are passionate about this. Even Bigfoot, people are
Yep.
passionate about it. That's why I didn't want to offend anyone by saying, it could be supernatural or whatever. And some people believe it, some people don't. But I'm open to all
Yeah.
of it. I'm open to whatever you believe.
Totally.
I wouldn't go against you, because I've had some crazy experiences in my life too. So I know what
Yep.
people see and feel, and it's real. I know it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Man, thanks for coming on again. Those are some awesome stories for you to share. Yeah. We'll definitely. I will keep my eyes open for hopefully the whatever you're working on comes to light in the future. I think that'd
Yeah.
be a really cool show, and um, if it's what I think it might be, then it could be an interesting conversation down the road. So
You're
we'll have to see.
probably you're
But
probably
yeah,
close to what it's gonna
yeah, yeah,
be.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's
think
gonna
it'd
be
be
something
cool.
totally different.
But
That to be
yeah,
really enjoyable. People are gonna love
yeah.
it.
Thanks again, Todd.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Bye.
Bye.